My name is Aanya, and this isn't just a story. It's a warning, because sometimes the quietest houses hide the loudest secrets, and the thing that lives inside your walls might already know your name. It started 2 months ago when I moved into my new house, a modest 2-story place on the outskirts of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The air smelled faintly of paint and dust, and every night I told myself the creaks were just the house settling. I wanted to believe that. I really did. The first time I noticed it was on a Sunday morning. The light was soft, spilling through the curtains. I was walking toward the kitchen when I froze. Right there near the staircase were wet footprints, pale, human, bare feet. They started near the hallway and stopped just before the kitchen door. What unsettled me wasn't the footprints themselves. It was that I lived alone. At first, I tried to be logical. Maybe I'd stepped in water last night. Maybe I'd spilled something. But when I checked, the floor was bone dry, and the prints were larger than mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound felt amplified. The ticking clock, the rustle of curtains, even my own breath. At 2:47 a.m., I heard it. The faint sound of footsteps. Slow, heavy, from downstairs. I sat up, heart pounding. The house was supposed to be empty. The steps stopped abruptly, followed by the sound of something dragging. A slow scrape across the floorboards. I called out, "Who's there?" Silence. When I finally gathered the courage to go down, everything looked normal. Except for one thing. The same footprints were back, but this time they led upstairs and to my bedroom door. The next morning I called the local caretaker, Mr. Verma, an old man who had been maintaining houses in the area for decades. He inspected the place carefully and said something strange. "Madam, this house belonged to the Desai family. They left suddenly, about 5 years ago. No one wanted to buy it afterward." "Why?" I asked. He hesitated. "Their son disappeared one night. Police never found him. But—" He paused, glancing toward the floor. "People say they still hear him walking." I laughed it off. But deep down, I felt that twist in my stomach, the one that warns you something isn't right. That night I sprinkled talcum powder near the staircase and kitchen floor before going to bed. I wanted to prove it to myself, that it was all in my head. When I woke up, there were footprints again. Only this time, they were coming from my bedroom. And in the powder, clear as day, was a handprint. Small, like a child's, pressed right next to where I slept. The following days blurred together. The smell of damp earth filled the rooms. Doors creaked open by themselves. Sometimes I'd hear faint giggles, not loud but close, right behind me. One evening I found something buried under the old floorboards in the storage room, a small wooden box wrapped in cloth. Inside it was a child's shoe, half burned, and an old photograph. A boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old, smiling. Behind him stood a woman whose face had been scratched out. There was writing on the back of the photo. "Don't let him out." That night, everything changed. At exactly 3 a.m., the temperature in the house dropped. The lights flickered. I heard footsteps running, fast, panicked, circling the house. When I turned on my flashlight, I saw muddy footprints appearing in real time, one after another across the living room floor. They stopped just before the window. Then faintly I saw the shape of a boy, half visible, eyes hollow, watching me from behind the glass. He whispered, "You let me out." I screamed, stumbling backward, and the sound of a door slamming echoed through the hall. Mr. Verma came running the next morning after I called him in panic. He didn't say a word, just went straight to the basement door, which I'd never noticed before. It was hidden behind a wooden shelf. He looked at me gravely. This was locked for a reason. When we opened it, the smell hit first. Damp, iron, decay. In the corner lay the remains of a small body, bones wrapped in a child's blanket. The same pattern as the photo. Police confirmed it days later. It was the missing Desai boy. He had been buried alive in the house during a renovation. His mother had gone insane afterward. She was the one who had written, "Don't let him out." When I returned after the investigation, The house was eerily silent. The powder I'd spread was untouched. No footprints, no whispers. But as I locked my door that night, I noticed something on the mirror, faint writing traced in fog. "Thank you for finding me." And beneath it, one small wet footprint. Some houses don't forget. Some children don't rest. And when you disturb what's been buried too long, it doesn't always stay underground. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe, because next time the footsteps you hear might be coming from your own home.